I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to the Social Hour, a Batman on Film podcast, Batman-on-film.com. This is episode number 157. Let's ride. Pete Verra. Pete Verra returns to the Social Hour. Senior BOF contributor. Yeah, you're back. What's been going on besides, well, you're doing, chapter by chapter for Batman 89. You got the damn original BOF podcast. You're all over the place.
Yeah, having some fun, talking some bats, little Robin too.
Yeah, got to get that in. Well, look, love that Joker. That was the latest episode.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Greatest Joker of all time, Jack Nicholson.
Was he now?
Yeah, damn right.
Or is he just a modern version of Cesar Romero?
Let's come on now. Now you just gotta be.
I say modern. I mean, then Batman 89 is 35 years ago. It is the 35th anniversary of Batman 89.
Yes, it is. It seems like Batman 89 has an anniversary pop up every couple of years now, right?
Well, you know what that means? That means that's how fast time goes.
Yeah.
Nowadays, especially when you get older. I mean, it's like I always say about, everybody was upset about the Batman Part 2 moving back a year. And I'm like, hey, remember how you couldn't wait for The Dark Knight to get here?
Mm-hmm.
That's 16 years ago.
Yeah. Time flies,
it
feels like yesterday I was watching 89 in the theater for the first time for its 80th anniversary, and now it's 30th. Not Batman thing was Batman's 80th, but then a couple weeks ago I'm watching it in concert again, and I'm like, this is great.
Does it seem that long ago when we watched The Dark Knight for its 10th anniversary in New York?
Yeah, it does. It seems like it was a while ago.
That seems like a while ago. Wow.
It does. It does, because there's been so much theatrically that has happened in the Batman world since then. It feels like forever ago. But yeah, it wasn't that far ago when
I think
Bill saw the movie and left. He came into New York for the movie, flew out back.
I did.
The 3-hour stay in New York.
I got there. I had to, my damn flight left so early in the morning. I had to get up and go, and I had to go all the way to, where was I flying from then? Newark or LaGuardia? I don't remember. Anyway,
I think you went to LaGuardia.
I was crack ass of dawn the next morning. So
that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I speaking of that kind of stuff, with Batman's 85th anniversary, I would love for them to release some of the movies again on the big screen, get a look at them again. I haven't seen, the last time they did it, I went and saw them. And
I still haven't seen 66 on a big screen. I'd like to see that. That's the only one I haven't seen.
You know what? I have not. I would definitely go see it if I could on the big screen. Like to see I would see all of them. Hell, I'd see all of them. What the hell? Even Batman and Robin.
I could watch them whenever, but if I'm trying to think of ones that I haven't, movies that I'd like to see Mask of the Phantasm on the big screen. I don't think I ever saw that on the big screen.
Did that.
66. I saw one of the Adam West cartoon movies. That was fun. I forget. I think it was the Two-Face. Maybe both of them. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Return of the Joker. I don't know if that ever got a theater run. I think that would be cool to see in a theater.
The one Beyond. Yeah. I don't know if it did. I don't think so. But yeah. But the live actions, cool. I go see all of them again. Hell, look, speaking of time, does it seem that long since we had the Batman on Film watch party for the Batman?
No. No, that does. That seems. I think about that a lot all the time. That seems like yesterday.
That's 2 years ago, man. So
And I'll say this: when I rewatched Batman and Robin in the theater, for the first time for that Batman 80 run, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I went with a couple of my friends. We just kind of hung out, and you know what you're in for. It's Batman and Robin, obviously. It's notorious by now, but we had a good time with it. And time has passed, and several actors have been Batman, and the Band-Aid's been ripped off many years ago for Batman and Robin.
Well, part of the thing was it's coming off of 3 movies that pretty much took Batman serious in different ways, in different extremes, one way or the other. But all 3, the first 3, even Forever, which I'm still, I got my ass chapped because on some clickbait, how it was a flop basically, and I was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that's inaccurate.
I already went over that, went off on that, but but then you had Batman and Robin. Look, if you clearly, like, that was your intention, and you said, like, we're going to do a light, fun, kind of maybe a nod to the 60s series Batman movie, maybe it wouldn't have gotten as much grief as it did at the time it came out. But it was coming off. It's so funny how quick they got from Batman 89 to Batman and Robin. And a lot that had a lot to do with the merchandising and wanting it to be for kids. Poetic. and I don't know how much it is PG-13. There's a lot of adult innuendo, adult-ish stuff in Batman and Robin as well. So anyway, so it is speaking of the Batman about the Batman Part 2. What was 2 days ago was April 1st, and that is what, Pete?
A day you should be very careful on the internet.
What holiday is that? Yes.
April Fool's Day.
Yes. So I usually will, I'll pull that's just kind of tradition. I will write a story.
For Screen Rant.
No, hell no. That's clearly
might as well be.
It's clearly a bit, I mean, I had some good ones. I did Schumacher I think this was 2018. Schumacher was hired he was going to be in charge of Batman on film at
somebody reposted that yesterday. Brothers. I got to laugh at
it. I did one. This was really a good one because I got a lot of people, and then they ended up thinking, some of me were like, that's kind of a good idea, that Matt Reeves Batman was going to be CGI like in the Planet of the Apes, and Andy Serkis was going to do the mocap.
I remember that one, yeah.
And Kevin Conroy was going to do the voice.
Oh, you would have won over the internet with that one.
Yeah, and
okay.
So then,
you had some good ones over the years. You have,
yeah. This year, I think that the title enough, of the movies. Basically, I said the Batman Part 2 was going to be split into 2 movies. But was really 2 parts, but really was going to be still considered one movie and released 6 months apart. The Batman Part 2, Part 1, the Batman Part 2, Part 2, which was ridiculous. Wasn't that right there red flag enough?
Red flag enough was the date.
The date. How about the tag? The tag on the story was April Fool's Day.
I've been following you for a long time. I know that April Fool's Day, you're going to have a little fun.
And there's links throughout it that definitely says for the full press release, click here. For this, click here, and it goes to my traditional April Fool's Day page with Adam West Batman doing the Batusi and saying April Fool's Day. And as we speak, Pete, there are people still think that this is a true story.
Well, look, it seems like the old gunslinger still has a digital fingerprint on the Reddit, so you're pretty popular over there these days. Yeah, you
Anyway,
got some clicks and not clicks. What was it? You got some articles written about you.
did I?
Yeah, from
People,
shoddy people.
yeah. Well, so I'm just saying, it was my traditional April Fool's Day Batman story. Nothing more, nothing less. That was what it was. The Batman Part 2 is not going to be split into 2 parts. They're not going to be called Batman, the Batman Part 2,
Yeah.
Part 1,
Question.
and Part 2. Yeah.
Do you ever get any angry mail like, oh, I come to you for news. How dare you do this? I thought this was true. Like, what's wrong with you? You're incredible. Like, you ever get anybody ever go off on you for posting an April Fool's Day article?
Probably. And I'm like, that's on you. That's on you.
You should have read the whole article. Nitwit.
Don't respond to a title of an article, a headline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, read. So
that's good. You got another. You still got it. You still, for some reason, people care about whatever this Texan thinks over here.
Well, I'm an OG, man.
Yeah, you still get them all fired up.
I was thinking the other day. I mean, there's not who's left from that era. Garth Franklin over at Dark Horizons. Ain't it cool news? It's still up and running.
I don't know. I haven't checked it out in a long time. I know Mr. Knowles got in a lot of trouble over the years, and I checked out on that a while ago.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't involved with it anymore, but I haven't been there.
When I was in high school, though, like Ain't It Cool News is one of my big, not high school, I say college, one of my big websites. Yeah,
that was the big
Dark Horizons. Yeah.
That was the first big fan site, really, online.
Yours,
Dark Horizons, Batman,
even Slash Film when that first dropped. Peter Soretta ran it kind of like
at the beginning. Yeah, that's even.
And he's even done with that now, so he's moved on.
Oh, really? He's not has anything to do with Slash Film anymore? I
don't believe so. I believe he took. I don't think he's running it. I think somebody else is. I think he's moved on.
Did he buy? Did someone buy it? Did a corporation?
I'm not really sure, and it seemed like it was pretty amicable on both ends. Like he just, I just think Peter made his money, and it's time for him to just enjoy Star Wars. Like I just kind of feel that's his vibe right now.
Yeah. So I mean,
and
Corona's coming attractions. Remember Corona's coming attractions?
No, I don't remember that one.
Remember that one? Comics to Film?
No, superhero hype. I was big on superhero hype back in the day. That was one of my favorites.
Okay. That was Spider. It started out as Spider-Man hype.
Is that what? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, Latino Review. Those guys.
Latino Review. Yeah.
Kelvin Umberto.
Yeah. But I think the old those original ones, from the late 90s, Batman on Film, Ain't It Cool News, I think still going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get into it. I mean, everyone knows like my origin story comes with the Scooby-Doo trailer, so I didn't really get into BOF until around Scooby-Doo time. That's when I really discovered the website and fan sites in general.
That was probably what, 2000, 2001,
2002. Yeah, I was really late to getting the internet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's we'll continue on because people get upset with witty banter. They don't know how to fast forward.
Yeah, they can kiss my ass. I don't like listening to you guys talk. Why are you listening to a podcast?
Exactly. There you go. There you go. So Todd Phillips dropped. Is this the first poster for Joker 2?
First poster, but it's just another group, just another image. Phillips likes releasing images.
I know we've gone through a lot of
Zack Snyder that way.
There was that one. It was released and it was it had the poster dimensions way back when it first started filming. It was just the silhouette of Joaquin Phoenix as Joker and Lady Gaga as Harley, and they're dancing. They're black and the background is red. They've had this one, but this one is actually images of them. It was pretty cool, I thought. Not too much different from that one back, but I mean, you actually see them. Looks like they're dancing. So
Yeah. I honestly, when it comes to this film, I don't need any more hype. I don't need any more
yeah,
pictures. I don't need any more trailers. I just need to be seated with popcorn and soda, ready to watch it.
it's
I'm very excited for this.
am
It's very unique.
I am fascinated by this movie because I've said many times, I was one who didn't think there needed to be a sequel to Joker because I thought the brilliance of it was how ambiguous it was as far how much was he imagining or hallucinating, how much was in his head and how much was real, and it was just so open for interpretation. I mean, and any interpretation is valid. Any interpretation is valid. And I didn't want to know. I don't want the answer to that. How much was, in Arthur Fleck's head and how much was real. I want to just come up to my own conclusion, but I just feel like they came up with a way to preserve that greatness of Joker, but still do a sequel. Yeah, I mean, you're doing a jukebox. I mean, it's got to be some sort of crazy.
I just don't know what we're in store for, and that's the greatest thing, to be honest.
That's exactly.
I mean, Todd Phillips is kind of a genius in my opinion because all his films are kind of really different from one another, and he's kind of doing all these, like he does these different genres, and I had no idea he had all these ideas, and these are just, I never would have associated, like, I think of Todd Phillips, I think of Due Date, maybe like travel, like comedy movies, and yeah. I've said this before, like the fact that he's able to kind of branch out and expand his creativity is really interesting to me. And when someone's able to do that, you could see what they're capable of with something like Joker. That's why, like, for this one, I'm like, maybe this movie isn't necessarily what we think it is. Yeah. Like, all we know is it's a musical and it stars Phoenix and Gaga. But outside of that, we don't know, like, what if this movie is entirely like in his head again, right? Or maybe it's not. Maybe I don't know. It's
got to be, as like I said, I think it's got to be something where all of those questions from the first movie are still unanswered.
And again, this just feels like it's going to have a lighter tone than the first one because it involves music, and like unless they're singing a bunch of Stained songs, I don't think I'm going to get really depressed.
Well, look, Sweeney Todd isn't like a boatload of sunshine and rainbows.
No, but the music is still kind of uplifting in a way. Like it may set the tone or something, but right, like, but it doesn't, like, the soundtrack for the first movie was so, like, it worked so well with that movie because, like, I don't know, the long horns and the subtle drums and stuff that the composer used. Her name's really, it's Scrabble, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I feel bad, but she did a fantastic job and it fits so well. So I'm very curious to see what she adds to it as well. On top of that, the first movie is just a force of nature. Like, it just comes at you and no one was expecting it. Like, that literally, people were not prepared for Joker when it came out. Like, when someone says the world wasn't ready for this movie, they're talking about something like Joker. Like, that's a reference point.
I'm the one when I saw it announced was like, I don't need to see the origin of the Joker. I like it. Or you don't know what the origin, he just is, that whole take on the character. I don't need to see him fall in a vat of acid. I don't need to know anything. Give me.
I agree with you.
I want to know how I got these scars. Yeah.
Because this Joker is such a departure from what we're used to. If you think about it, like, this is a Joker without Batman, a Joker that predates Batman by what, 15 years, 20 years, probably. Like,
if there's even a Batman,
right? Like, how old is this young Bruce Wayne? We only know him as a child. So it's such a take on the Joker, but the essence of the Joker is still there, even though he's not walking around with an acid flower. Right?
Yeah.
But now, like, you accompany him with traditional, like Harley Quinn, which at some points is either traditionally his lover, his accomplice, or, his sidekick. And it adds a little bit more from comic book familiarity, a little, like, it's like, okay, so they're expanding the Joker world, but it's like, what about like the greater Batman world around it? Like, we didn't even, I don't like, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no Gordon even in that
I mean, I don't,
Joker movie,
I
right?
don't,
Like,
I don't,
it's just
I
interesting
don't
because it's
need,
just Joker.
I don't need to know that the Bruce Wayne, the kid we saw in Joker, ends up being Batman one day. I don't
Mhm.
care. I don't want to
Mhm.
see it. I doubt we ever see it. I don't. It's just amazing what you take a Batman. I mean, look, the Joker's he's damn near as popular as Batman. You know,
He's probably at this point more popular than
I
Superman.
mean, I wouldn't argue against that. I mean, he is, and so look, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's just going to be surreal if you get a like a Mamma Mia type of
Mhm. Yeah.
response where people are singing songs in the theater while they watch, and it's still it's going to be R-rated
It's
and
like when
blood
Anger Management
and
came out and we all
yeah,
started singing I Feel Pretty. Like
yeah.
if that kind of happens, I might get a kick out
Well,
of
they
it.
said that the songs are well-known songs.
I'm excited.
What,
There's
15,
a
16
This movie is
well-known
unique.
songs?
I'm excited to see it. I think it's
Yeah.
different. I understand if
Well,
people don't want to go see it because they didn't like the first one, but I'm more about this. This is what you can do if you honestly want to keep the Black Label title going in film.
well,
If this is an actual title, you will make more of things like this. It doesn't, I'm not talking about like character studies on villains, but just maybe like one-off universes or something. I don't know, but
I
I hope Black Label stays around.
that's a great segue. You're setting me up for the where I'm directing this, but just to mention one more thing, he also says the first trailer will come next Tuesday on the 9th of April. So get ready for that. And I'm sure we'll break it down here at Batman on Film with our original podcast and here on the social hour as well. So heads up, trailer for Joker 2, Folie à Deux, next Tuesday, April 9th. Speaking of, yes, you said this is original, it's different. This is the kind of stuff the genre needs right now. It needs this. It needs Todd Phillips. It needs Matt Reeves. It needs Joker. It needs the Dark Knight, or sorry, the Dark Knight, the Batman saga. And I'm not, let's expand out of Batman as well. Let's not just DC. Give me something different. Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor.
I'm telling you, Bill,
Everything has been there, done that. Everything has been there,
Deadpool
done that.
3 is going to be a huge turning point, stepping stone for this genre, because you know if people love Jackman, people love Reynolds, but Deadpool 3 seems like it might be more multiverse, yada yada yada. We've seen it WandaVision, we've seen it with The Flash, we've seen it with No Way Home. It's a tired trope now at this point, the multiverse aspect, I think. I
Yeah.
don't know if people are necessarily all about it, but if that movie flops, then I think you make a strong case for you got to do something different. You got to try to do something different, because that's going to be like the third major movie they made on this multiverse stuff. And I know it's Ryan Reynolds and it's going to be raunchy, but it still kind of feels like your standard superhero movie that we've seen 100 times by now. And I'm just curious if the combination of Reynolds and Jackman pulls it off.
I think Jackman,
It's going to be a huge turning point.
look, I liked Hugh Jackman. I liked most of the X-Men films. That was a Fox thing. It's not MCU, it's not Disney. Even though they're now, they're part of Disney, the X-Men, but it's a little bit of just kind of a nostalgia thing to me,
Yeah, but again, like I kind of feel like that's not working. It's not working.
Well,
anymore.
exactly. But I think Deadpool was very original.
At the time.
Original at the time. Yes.
Now we're at the third movie, almost the end of the genre. I'm kind of concerned.
Yeah,
that's all.
The first one. I would put it up there and say, yeah, I would throw it in there with Joker and the Batman saga. That it's different. But now you've had a sequel. Now you're getting a third one, and it's they're trying to shove it into the DC or the MCU, and they're bringing in X-Men. it just and I really like the first one. I have no interest in seeing Deadpool 3. None. Zero. Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine doesn't move the needle for me. Hell, Logan was something different.
Logan is, in my opinion, the only real comic book movie that stands toe to toe with the Dark Knight. Just me, because I think Logan is fascinating, especially if you watch it in black and white. And I'm a big fan of Mangold because of that. Jackman's a huge draw for me. I liked Deadpool 2. I didn't like it as much as Deadpool 1. But I am curious to see how the audience reacts, because it's just, it's been an interesting time in the comic book genre recently, seeing what hits and what doesn't. It seems like the only thing that has hit has been Guardians, volume 3 in the most recent run of CBMs that has come out. That seems to be the most popular one of the bunch, and the most reviewed and received. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. But I think if Deadpool 3 doesn't do well, you can make a really strong case for the audience has seen a lot of this. It's time to give them something a little bit more refreshing, and we'll see what happens. Because plans change, as we like to say around here. So just as soon as something's ready to go, that's when you make your announcement.
Like I said, you're almost 2 decades and billions of dollars short when it comes to the shared universe thing. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's something different when I talk about the Batman saga. You haven't had a shared universe centered around one character's world.
I don't want to call this a shared universe either. If I want to put my fanboy hat on, this is more of an extended universe, because it's an extension of Batman. Batman's not sharing this world with Green Lanterns and Hawk people.
No,
but when I think of shared universe, I'm thinking, oh, the Justice League's going to assemble at some point. This is just super focused on Batman. I'm just being really nitpicky here, but I
think that's very nitpicky. I mean, you've got the
shared universe is now a term we use to describe something. I think now it's taken on a different meaning.
Well, you have the Penguin is the main character of the Penguin, and he's sharing. It's part of the Batman saga, the Batman that universe, the Riddler comic book, the Riddler Year One by Paul Dano is part of that. You haven't had this around one character where there was comic books, junior novels. I agree.
That's why I don't think I think it's something
movie,
else.
TV show.
I think shared universe is taken on a term that it's taken on is a different term now. Like when you mention that, I think people have an idea what you're talking about when you're talking about like a shared universe of films. It's all about other characters intersecting, and maybe the Batman truly is that. It's all characters intersecting around Batman. That's the focal point. I was just saying, like, this is me being like extra nerdy right now.
Yes. That's very nerdy, geeky. That's a message board take right there, sir.
That's fine. Don't ever take this.
But anyway, the Penguin, part of the Batman saga, part of the Batman universe. Colin Farrell says he's never portrayed a character where he's had no ownership, or that little ownership in that character. And he gives just props to the Mike Marino, who was the makeup artist who designed the Penguin, and all the people. And he said, it's like 2 or 3, 4 hours in the makeup chair, but it didn't bother me because I liked everybody I was working with, and it was just fine. So what did you think about it? Did you see his comments? And then what did you think?
I thought it was interesting, because I'm like, I don't know, like I love that he's giving credit to people who don't normally get it. I give him a lot of credit for that. He's spreading the wealth. He's giving people the 15 minutes of fame they don't normally get, and that's great. But like I'm sitting there like, Farrell, you came up with the voice, you came up with the waddle, like you're selling yourself short. Like I appreciate him. He's a good guy. Like it just proves that Colin Farrell's a good guy. But I'm like, he's got a little bit more ownership than that. But it's fun to read because you could just tell he's enjoying it. Like he's like, 4 hours in the makeup chair, no big deal. I'm sitting around here having some fun with my buddies. He's just living it up, and that's how I know this is going to be good, because it seems like everyone put their heart and soul into this.
It's God, it's amazing that much prep, to play that character. He's that every time and hell, this one, he's the star of this. He's the focal point, the main.
He's
character.
the title character.
And how many times did he have to? And it's long. I mean, we're talking about what, 8 hours almost, probably close to.
That's how much we see. But if you think about how much time he spent in that suit filming on set, in between takes, in between scenes and stuff like that, he's probably on set for 12, 15 hours a day at least, right? Like,
I like to know what
all that prosthetic, like that's got to be heavy.
How long does that take to come off at the end?
I would imagine. Think about this: all the weight that like putty and makeup and rubber suit and the fat belly thing and all that jazz he has to wear. It's got to be more than than like I would say like full on football gear. Can you imagine like shooting in July or August wearing the penguin outfit?
Yeah,
in the heat of summer. Oh man, it's crazy. Like if he sweats, does his like double chin fall?
I'd
love movie making.
I would like. There's part of it where I say I'd like to just see the whole process, and then how it comes off. But then I don't want to know the magic trick either.
I love watching. You ever watch like the time lapse videos of Danny DeVito getting his makeup put on?
Yeah, I've seen all that. I mean,
yeah, those are great.
There's a little bit of that where I see him as the penguin, and it's just I see Oz, and I don't even see Colin Farrell, and it's his voice. The voices, you hear him talk, and you hear Oz talk. It's two different people as well. It's completely different.
I remember reading early on for the Batman when they were doing early makeup tests for the Penguin. They wanted to see if they thought the makeup looked real and believable. So Colin went out. I think he went out in full makeup to like a Starbucks and ordered some coffee, and no one, he's like, I caught a couple looks because of the scars, but it was like, people believed it. So
Jeffrey Wright said they didn't even recognize him on set.
He's unrecognizable. He really they did a fantastic job transforming his face into an unrecognizable figure. That's not Colin Farrell. That is Oswald Cobblepot. That is a different person.
Oz talking. Imagine Colin Farrell given the whole Rex Calabrese little talk. Little.
I can't imagine.
Dialogue,
I can't see it.
Hey, Rex Calabrese.
Yeah,
in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood. He was a good guy. He saw you. He called you out.
It's kind of
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I love when I actually dig when actors of different countries come over and they play the American accent. I love it. Like it's kind of like an art to me. I like hearing Tom Holland do the American. Bale did it well. He still does it fantastic. Even though they speak English, they got that little bit of overseas twang.
Every time, let me see. Yeah. Every time I've been in an interview setting with Christian Bale while he was making the Dark Knight trilogy, he always was speaking in the Bruce Wayne American accent. He
I think for Begins, he exclusively did that in the American. I don't think he ever used his real voice when talking about that movie. I believe Begins, that's when
I mean, we interviewed him. He was we interviewed him on the set for The Dark Knight in Chicago, and he had just finished filming the bank vault scene with Oldman.
Mm-hmm.
So he came to us right from there. He was done for the day, and he probably still had on some of the suit because he had a big robe, those kind of when they cover up, on set. He had that on, and he had a ball cap and sunglasses. He still had the black around his eyes. So yeah, we were watching them film, and then when they cut, we're finished with this, he came over and he was straight up, American accent. Even at the the press junket. I mean, he hadn't been. He'd been they done
Well, I
filming
remember
for months,
everything
and he talked
extra ET, all those interviews, all using the American accent. Yeah.
on the set in Pittsburgh for Rises, even at, for that press junket a few months later. I had never heard him do an interview in his natural native voice in person. When I'm talking about just me. And I've seen him on TV with, talking in his British Welsh, or what is he? He's Welsh, isn't he?
I thought he was Welsh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know how I got on that, talking about Christian Bale in the Dark Knight trilogy.
No, you're a Nolanite. It's not hard.
Hell yeah. Why not?
Why?
Man's an Oscar.
Embrace the Dark Knight trilogy.
Sir Christopher Nolan.
That's right.
Not a lot of people can say they have a handwritten thank you letter from a real British knight.
That's true. I do. I have a handwritten thank you letter from a real gunslinging Texan.
Is that right?
I do.
Who was it? Matthew McConaughey?
No, that's Bill Ramey.
Oh yeah. You got that thing framed?
I got it framed. It's right there. That's my little,
That's your Nolan?
That's my Nolan.
Okay.
I didn't get it in the letterhead, but it's all right.
So yeah. Okay. Well, I sent it in a
Where's
Batman
your letterhead
card. Well, I do have some. I sent it in a Batman card. Remember, it had the Batman logo and everything on there, whole 9 yards. All right, yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it. I just want to talk. Yeah, Colin Farrell, ready for that. That's going. Hey, look, it's April, man. Okay, it'll be here soon. Before we know it, we'll be watching the Penguin.
It's going to be a good time, man. We're going to get Joker and Penguin around the same time. Yeah. I don't know what's coming first, but I'm here for both of them. I can't wait. This is it. They're right around the corner.
This seems like a November, late October, probably after. Wouldn't you say? What's the tradition now?
I give a 2-week window.
Do we have
dropped? I think 2 weeks. The other one probably drops.
I'm trying to think. Are these series, these shows like that? Do they tend to start and end before like the end of the year? Like I see a lot of them start up like in January or February.
I'm not really sure because I don't really watch a whole lot of shows. I'm more of like a live sports dude. I'm not positive on that.
Because I mean, they had the last. I watched all the Fargos, the last season a bit. I didn't even know it came out, but then it was way earlier in the year, and I came upon it late. But it always seemed like they would start, or like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. But if it says fall this year, so we're on the watch come September, end of September.
Mm-hmm.
I would over 8 weeks. I would think that it's probably something that starts and finishes this year and does not go into 2025. That's just my guess.
I think it's solid. I think it's a solid guess.
Because there's too much, there's that two weeks. I mean, you get to Thanksgiving and up through New Year's, that 3-4 week period. It's just too much going on and so much other stuff.
I think it drops well before Thanksgiving. I'm with you. I don't think they want to get lost in the holiday shuffle.
Yeah.
Because after Thanksgiving, everyone starts turning to, not even, honestly, even before Thanksgiving, people are already thinking about Christmas. I think you got to drop it sometime before Thanksgiving. So
I think it comes
October 1st.
Airs totally this year in 2024.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
So here we go. Let's get the countdown going. If I had a date, I'd make a little countdown just like I have for the Batman Part 2.
Did you do one for Joker? We don't have one for Joker.
I don't have one for Joker, no, just for the Batman. So, all right, that'll do it. So, Joker 2 poster. I want to get that one. Hang it. I got Joker. I got the original Joker. Then one of him dancing on the steps. I got that hanging up. So we got Joker 2 poster trailer next week, Tuesday, April 9th. Colin Farrell talks about not having ownership of the Penguin, or very little ownership. Good dude. Praises all the people that make him turn Oz into a real person. And We got the Penguin coming here soon, and no, the Batman Part 2 is not split into two parts. I'm gonna say it one more time. Okay. All right. What you got to plug?
You can follow me on social media at Pete Illustrated, Instagram and X. Follow my news-based podcast that I do with the champion of Long Island, currently invading the UK, Eric Holzman, at straight_O_G.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Eric's in the UK?
Yeah, he's going to get somebody's mom pregnant.
What?
Yeah, Eric's in the UK. He's branching out.
What's he? Is it for real? He's really over there?
Yeah, he is in the UK right now. He is in England.
Vacation or work?
Eric, he always likes to mix work and pleasure, so it's probably a little bit both.
Okay. I did not know that.
Holzman's got international, baby. He's international. It's great.
Okay. Straight from Long Island, huh? Long Island to England.
It's just swim across the Long Island Sound. I have a Spider-Man podcast, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition. You can follow that on Twitter at Spider-Man Coalition, BatmanOnFilm.com, Batman on Film YouTube, Batman on Film podcasts. Check all that stuff out because I'm all over there talking about Detective Comics because it's so wonderful these days. And that's about it. So, Bill, why don't you close out the show?
The Batman First Night is pretty good.
I did not enjoy it as much as others. That's just me. But you can hear all my thoughts on the Batman Book Club monthly.
I'll have to check. Yeah, it's on Batman on Film. Interesting. Tell me real quick. Just give me a quick top of your head. What did you not like about it?
It outside of really Gotham by Gaslight, I don't really like the whole period piece Batman type aspect, and you don't like 1939
Batman? I mean,
not really. It's not my thing. No.
People ever ask, what could you do with Batman when he's in the public domain? You're pretty much, that's what you're restricted to. They're kind of going with they're going with what Batman had in his world in 1939.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And announcer Rachel will finish up here. We'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jet's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/Batman on Film, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jet and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.